JJ Redick questions why it's the responsibility of NBA players to educate fans, and questions how much fans actually want to be educated in the first place. In the clip, he says, I can do a video on my podcast where I break down the last 9 games the Pelicans have used Zion Williamson as the primary ball handler. 54,000 views on YouTube. But I want to call out a coach yesterday. Oh, that gets tens of millions of engagement. That's the ecosystem we live in. So do fans actually want to be educated or not? And let's look at some of these replies. Called out your former coach and coworker, whose son is now your coworker, on national TV after never saying any of it to his face. Not to mention that the best years of your career were with Doc. That would have gotten more engagement than anything, not just a film study. Dude sucks. It's just soap opera for men. No fans overwhelmingly don't want to be educated. ESPN's entire model over the past 15 to 20 years has been driven by this premise. It's 2024 and this is America. No one wants to be educated. We want to be entertained. Okay? Which is the whole purpose of these goofy shows where people just yell and scream. One, he's not wrong. People prefer messy drama when it comes to sports, which I never understood. 2, I wish he would have said this somewhere else, not First Take. Trying to be entertaining and not educating the viewers is kind of what First Take is about. There is truth to what JJ's saying, but JJ got to stop acting dumb, bro. JJ has to stop acting dumb because he knows exactly what the fuck is going on. And as a dude who has succeeded through social media, he knows how you need to play the game and why the game is the way that it is. In any area, in any niche, the more advanced the conversation becomes, the more niche the conversation becomes, the less viewership there is. That's just natural. You know what I'm saying? That's just natural. And in any niche, the surface level shit has the biggest appeal. The drama, the entertaining shit, that has the biggest appeal. And again, the more specific you go down, the more advanced you get in your conversation, the more nuanced your conversation becomes. That's when you become a hub for the enthusiasts. That's when you become the guy that enthusiasts go to. You know what I'm saying? And the NBA is no exception. I said this in my State of NBA YouTube video, and a lot of people were on my ass talking about how, yo, BSOLZ didn't really say anything here. This is exactly what I'm talking about. JJ, this is the beauty of social media right now, is that there is a place, that there is a space for every single thing when it comes to NBA conversations. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was either just barbershop talk, lunch table talks, or ESPN. Maybe FS1. That was sports media back in the day. But now, because of social media, something that JJ Redick, you have utilized as best as you can, now there is a space for these advanced conversations. I think instead of harping on the negative, I think this is a positive right here. The fact that you can talk about a video about how in the last 9 games, Zion Williamson has been used as a primary ball handler, and you got 54,000 views. JJ, that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing. I'm sorry. And also, depending on how many clips you make from that video, that could have had a bigger reach than even just the 54,000 we're thinking of right now. Maybe someone clipped that up on Twitter, and that Twitter video has 2 million views. You know what I'm saying? This is not a bad thing. This isn't. You go to certain platforms for certain things. That's the beauty about social media now. If you want the entertaining debates, you go to First Take. If you want to look at the NBA in a more casual lens, in a more entertainment lens, just fans being fans, that's when you go to a Souls and Sage. That's when you go to a Let's Keep It a Buck. I think Players Choice does a decent job of being in the middle. But, you know, if you want to go for the advanced conversations, that's when you go to a Thinking Basketball. That's when you go to a JJ Redick. But to me, this is so weird because JJ he's acting like he doesn't use drama to his advantage. I'm looking at JJ's clips right now, and the First Take clip is not something that he clipped up. That's fine. I'm looking at The real story of Giannis flipping out over the game ball. 500K views on his channel. I'm looking at Luka Doncic opens up about playing with Kyrie Irving. 538K. Luka Doncic on the Devin Booker beef. 691K. More Luka Doncic on the Mavs losing Jalen Brunson for nothing. These are all narrative drama clips. These aren't straight X's and O's clips. But maybe it's me just not watching the clip, which, to be fair, I apologize. But if this title and thumbnail gets you into this clip where you do talk about X's and O's, there is a way to positively use this meta, this stage that social media is in to your advantage, for your message. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. JJ, that was just weird. That was just a weird comment for JJ to make. Here and there, JJ has this thing where, like, people know a lot. Like, he has a superiority complex. I ain't gonna lie. Again, for you to be great, you need to have that superiority complex. And JJ Redick is a great entertainer. He's a great podcaster. But sometimes he just likes to get his shit off, bro. When I don't even think it's needed. Let me play the clip, because maybe I missed something.
Point. Now I want to address Stephen A's point. Since when is it players' jobs to educate people on basketball? When did that become a thing? Isn't that our job?
I'll answer.
I view that as my job. That's my job to educate people on basketball.
I'm letting you speak, and then I'll answer.
It's our job, Stephen A., to educate people on basketball. It's our job. And here's the reality. This is the ecosystem we live in. I can do a video on my podcast. Where I break down the last 9 games the Pelicans have used Zion Williamson as the primary ball handler, and what type of actions that has led to. I looked it up this morning. 54,000 views on YouTube. But I want to call out a coach yesterday. Oh, that gets tens of millions of engagements. That's the ecosystem we live in. So do fans actually want to be educated or not? Mm-hmm. Do they?
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit more context there than what the tweet let out to say. If your job is an analyst and that's what you pride yourself on, I do feel like you have a little bit more responsibility in that regard. But I think with what Stephen A is now, I don't think anyone goes to Stephen A. Smith for the nuanced conversations. I think people already know what First Take is about. And I don't want to be obtuse about this though. When push comes to shove, yeah, a lot of people do care about the narratives and the drama more than actual basketball play. I just don't think it's the response. Just because you have a sports platform doesn't necessarily mean that it's your responsibility to educate people. That's essentially what I'm saying. Especially now that independent platforms are being built, you don't got a responsibility for anyone. I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't. Just because Flight Reacts has built a platform talking about NBA basketball and reacting to NBA highlights does not mean that Flight Reacts has a responsibility now to teach basketball the right way. Same thing with me, same thing with Low, same thing with JJ Redick, same thing with Stephen A. You build your platform the way you want to build it. And I don't want to be a broken record when I say this, but again, that's the whole point of social media. Is you make the content that you want to make, the algorithms will match that up with the viewer who wants to see that content, and we push. But yeah, I don't think it is the NBA players' responsibility to teach the game, and I also don't think it is sports media personalities' job to teach the game. I feel like those responsibilities really only exist for people who legitimately call themselves analysts and people who, I'm going to be honest with you, hold themselves to that high of a regard and pull that you don't know basketball card a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the guy to do that though. That's my thing. I am not the guy to say you don't know basketball a lot. But for those who do, I'm going to hold you to a higher standard because this is how you want to talk. Those people who, you know, when they talk about basketball, everything is a debate to them. I'm gonna hold you to a higher standard because that's how you want to present yourself. So yeah, this is again Nick Wright talking about the JJ Redick quote that we just talked about. And he says, the great thing about modern sports media is there's literally an audience platform for all types of coverage. You can do anything. And folks can create their own lanes, platforms where they do literally whatever they want. It's really an exciting time. I completely agree. But personally, I'd be a little embarrassed if, for example, Nikias, NBA, invited me on to talk deep X's and O's, and I just yelled at him, this is boring. Let's rank players. To know exactly what you signed up for, take the check, then whine about how beneath you is wild to me. And is he spitting? More yes than no. More yes than no. Again, JJ Redick knows what time it is, bro. JJ Redick knows what conversations he can get off on ESPN First Take versus his own podcast. He knows the limitations. He knows this, that, and the third. JJ Redick, you know what First Take is about, bro. Stop acting like this is supposed to be something that it's not, because this has always been what it is.